Radio. Shout it.
What's happening? Of course, you know it's your phone, B-High Radio Shout In. Today, stepping in the building, I got one of my favorite radio inspirations in this thing as we speak. Poon, Daddy, what's good with it, boss?
What's up with you,
man? Feeling good, feeling great, man.
Man, I'm loving to see, you know, the up. Moving on up over here to Jefferson. Ain't y'all doing it like this?
That's how I feel too, yeah, man. But Poon, first of all, man, you know they call me Radio Shouty. Mm-hmm. But it was a guy on the radio that used to say, Shouty! And I used to love to hear it to the point to where Backbone had to sample it and put it in a damn song. One of my favorite songs of all time, Poon. Do you understand that? Oh, Shouty! I mean, Poon, talk to me about touching down in Atlanta and cranking up this radio stuff.
Man, realistically, I'm just going to tell you, I'm a very observant person, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And the best thing that I can kind of give you the real heart of it is that when I came to Atlanta, and the reason and the time of my life when I came to Atlanta, it was a breath of fresh air, but it also was a time of understanding, because Los Angeles is nothing like Atlanta as far as on the cultural tip. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Especially back then in the early 90s. I graduated high school in 92. I came here that following fall. I started actually at Morris Brown for a semester, then I went over to Clark Atlanta, which, you know, I was playing football there, you know what I'm saying? So that was my whole reason. But while I was here, I was able to, you know what I'm saying, lock in with one of the greatest people I know in this city and a part of one of the biggest groups of all time. That was Left Eye, and she kind of was very instrumental and kind of giving me my, I guess you could say, my navigation in the business and in the city. You know what I'm saying?
How did you find yourself over there at Hot 107.9, though, Poon? Well, 97.5 at the time.
Actually, that was crazy. I was still at Clark, and then my partner, my roommate, who was RAs at Clark Atlanta, my roommate met Jason Staten, who was
what up, though, Jason? Yeah,
Jason Staten. Big ups to Jason Staten. Met Jason Staten. I want to say either at Steagles or at a Philly place, somewhere like that, and they got to talking, and he explained that he worked for this new station, the station everybody been talking about. And at this time, I want to say it wasn't even jocks. It was just like a constant loop of music or whatever that was just playing. So they got to talking, and he was saying, you know, he was trying to kind of find his way around the city and build with different people. And my roommate was like, man, you need to meet one person. Yeah. My roommate. And he was like, for real? He was like, he not from here, but he know everybody here. And I guess that started because of Lisa, because I was running around with TLC, so kind of just like put me in the mix in front of everybody.
Exactly.
In the city,
so now you at the radio station trying to figure it out, man. How the hell was you able to get on the air from just walking through the door, Poon?
Man, I guess the same thing because of my popularity. And Steve Hegwood, shout out to Steve Hegwood, which was the program director at that time.
That's right.
He seen it. Actually, the funniest thing ever, I was just telling to somebody, Jason Staten got fired like within 90 days of me being there as the music director.
Damn.
Okay? So me being the person that I am, you know, being, you know, some person that's like, you know, hood orientated, you know, I'm thinking, shit, when he gone, I'm gone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He brought me in, you feel me? So regardless of what I did or how much it was, you know, Mary Catherine Sneed, which was the general manager at that time and part owner, called me in my dorm room and said, what are you doing? And I was like, well, they said Jason got fired. And she was like, Jason got fired. Not you. What are you talking about? You got a bunch of stuff to do. So that kind of let me know, I guess I had some worth.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And from there, as I was there, I think I want to say it was like one night, I might have been helping doing some production with Jerry Smoking B. Yeah. And somebody was knocking at the door. And I went downstairs. For some reason, they was knocking for a long time. And at this time, the radio station was in College Park, in like an apartment complex, almost looked like. So you literally can hear, especially after hours, when somebody was knocking at the door. Yeah. So it was a knock for a long time. So I'm like, this is somebody that must need to be here. So I go downstairs, and I go answer the door, and it's this dude with a flat top. Talking about, hey man, I rap. I'm trying to get da-da-da. I'm like, man, it's after hours. Da-da-da-da. And I don't know what it was. He was just like, you know, look, man, tell me what I could do. I really, you know what I'm saying? I'm really trying to rap. So by the station being new and knowing what the pulse was that everybody, the jocks that was there, that was coming, is that people really didn't have identification on the station. So I was like, well, look, bro, they was just talking about this earlier. Listen to the station. Listen to the jocks that's on the air. Go do some intros to the different shows that's on the air. And come back up here and give me the intros, and maybe I'll see if they play it.
Yeah.
Well, at that time, Chris Lover, a.k.a. Ludacris.
Yes, sir.
That's who it was. He came back the next day with intros for each show. Under different beats, different styles, flavors. All of them was dope. Every single one, every jock used. So that more or less got people familiar with his voice.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think Steve was like, yo, who was that did it? I was like, yo, it's this dude, Chris. I want to bring him up here. So I think maybe a few days later, after people heard it, I brought him up there. And when he came up there, he just, gelled.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I guess you say the rest was history. The station kind of just figured it out from there.
So what was it like when y'all had the hottest night show in the city, though, Poon? Because, I mean, y'all came to my middle school to speak, okay? I seen it, okay? I seen it with Gene Childs Young, brother. I was there, okay? Talk to me about the domination from 6 to 10 that y'all boys did, man, because it ain't been a show like that since, fool.
Well, look, let me tell you this. It really was like, I guess you could say, really learning on the job or just really being truly authentic because we were just doing what we feel.
Yeah.
People don't even remember this, and I don't even know if you remember this. We started out only on Sundays, but people, what I guess was told from me, from Mary Catherine, from marketing, from promotion to Steve, was so many people that loved our flavor and spirit that we only lasted Sunday nights maybe like 6 weeks, and then they put us on Nabs' show, and it was like DJ Nabs in the lab. Before that, I was like just having fun, kicking it, clowning on these two guys, KK and Bootleg. They were the original two jocks that was on the air before Nabs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of got in touch with, what to do, how to do it, figure it out, and then do it my own style. And that's where Poon Daddy, all that, everything came from or whatever. So that's how the origin of, us actually getting on air. So once we became the lab, everything went through the roof. Like literally, we were getting, me and Chris was doing like 2 or 3 clubs a night, and we were just on Nabs' show.
Yeah.
So the station wasn't paying us because they was making money hand over fist. We were doing remotes. We were everywhere we needed. Everywhere there was somewhere to be, we was there. And Ryan really didn't like to do remotes at that time. You know what I'm saying? Ryan didn't really like to do remotes. So he wasn't really too keen on that. He wanted to really stick to basing his morning show. So everything pretty much that he didn't do, we did. So that was everything from 559 to 731 to the Atrium to Jazzy Tees to any strip club in the city you can imagine. We was there. We had presence there. So
when y'all got y'all show and y'all started breaking records and y'all had to sit in a headlock, what was that experience like?
Well, this is what it was. This was kind of like a back and forth thing with us and Steve Hegwood, because I guess it was me that really understood the power of what we had in the city and the ear to the city. So we used to kind of argue, about records that we believed in and he didn't believe in. I remember one time I even probably got fined to the point that we had to sit down and be like, look, we know what we doing. If you guys can't necessarily let us do what we do, then we don't even want to do it no more. We'll just do a different type of show because it doesn't make sense to be limited on what we know. We've already broke all these records. So once they kind of let us be totally free, that's when we was really able to do everything we wanted to do. But the whole time, I know in Chris's head and in my head, we were almost just culminating the time of when we can do something with his music. So it was like once we was known for breaking music, it would be easier to implement, us or him in that manner into that whole frame.
La La, adding her to the show. Where the hell did Lala come from?
Now, see, I ain't gonna lie, that was Mary Catherine.
Okay.
And really a little bit of Shaka, because we did not like it at all.
Uh-huh.
We didn't think we needed a girl. We didn't think we needed any type of estrogen with our testosterone. We felt like we was the greatest things in the world. But in all actuality, it lifted the show to a whole nother level.
Yes, sir.
And it helped Lala go to a whole nother level. So Lala was that good to the point to where we knew from her being on our show, we were only going to do was give her a platform to be able to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she did. She was on our show for maybe a year, a little over a year. Then she left and then went to D.C. and just did kind of like weekends or something like that because she was at Howard. So she went from doing weekends, I think, to her junior year. She basically had to lessen down her schedule at school because she was on air full time.
Damn.
Yeah,
So y'all sitting there doing that radio and y'all knowing that y'all need to crank up DTP. What was that like trying to figure that whole move out at the same time and keep a job, but then get this man off the ground and up through there so that y'all could get the hell on?
Well, it was strategic, realistically. We just had to make sure that, the station knew that we was in debt to them, period, first and foremost. But everything else was kind of like setups. So I remember at one point, we had a What's Your Fantasy might have just came out and we was pushing it, and Alabama jumped on it real fast. So that was like one of our first paid shows outside of maybe like the 559 or something like that. So outside of the city, Alabama was one of the first paid shows. So I remember because of the hour different thing, we was able to drive to Alabama real fast and be able to get there, do a show, come back that night. So I remember Chris did that one time. We did that like for maybe like a month and a half straight. Now, this is pre-deal because we were still trying to figure it out. We were still growing. We were still selling. But the record was in high rotation on both stations. That's the crazy thing about it because to me, it's stupid commendable when you're on a station against somebody and that person respects you so much.
They play their record.
They play the competition's record.
That's true.
Gray Street is legend forever. Like, to me, I don't know if people understand how real that is because you're basically just giving promotion to the other station because that's where you can hear them at.
Exactly.
So, for me, that was like one of the most commendable, respectable things that I've ever seen or heard anybody ever do. And I think at that point, we might have been killing them too, and we was killing them. We was real because we was up. Like, I think we might have been closer. He might have been closer to us on maybe like 24 to 35, like older. But for the kids, 18 to 24, we murdered him. Like, we had the kids, we had the teens, the college kids, we was killing them. So I already know for him to even play the record at that point, it was really, you know what I'm saying, for him to take out and do that, it was some special stuff.
So now the label starts to take off, man.
So the label starts to take off. Me and Chris, the whole plan was to be able to build something that we can kind of have the type of music and this type of music that we knew and we grew up on, we love. So I-20, Lil Fate, Titty Boy, Shauna, Four Eyes, the whole clique, really, we had like a way that we wanted to do it and kind of rubbed it out. And then a couple of great additions, Bobby V, Chingy came, you know what I'm saying, Sharifa, all came into the play. So it was definitely something that was dope, and we just built it out. And it started with Chris, and
did you feel like when y'all was at that radio station, it was gonna get as big and as crazy as it did for everybody in there?
Well, nah. I knew we was doing something special, but I had no idea that we would. I knew everybody was gonna be successful, but I had no idea to the level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To the level. But in all actuality, we were young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ask anybody at a young age coming from, poverty-stricken areas and places, can they grow up and be iconic? Yeah, I want to, but you know what I'm saying? The realness in it happening. But as we got older and I really seen how, and because we knew and had the early toolage in radio, we knew what to do. You know what I'm saying? Because we seen so many people fall short. We seen so many. This is why Chris has been successful.
Yeah.
But in all actuality, we talked about at the station transcending the music into film and television and branding and all type of stuff. So this whole idea of what actually happened still was thought of. It just the plan actually had to go into attack, because you could think about something, you could have a great idea, but to actually be able to plan it, attack it, and be successful with it, man, that's
a whole nother beast.
That's
So I look at it though, y'all boys had world domination on the radio. Then y'all went into the music industry and had world domination again, man. Right. I mean, so now y'all on a damn winning streak. What was that winning streak like? And was there any hiccups in the road on that path to greatness that you care to share?
It definitely was hiccups. It was a lot of, you know what I'm saying? It just was stuff that happens among friends that go into business together. I guess that's the best way to be able to say it, because, you know, by Chris being the boss, the head honcho, as well as an artist as well, other artists that's in Fuse really kind of don't understand why they're not getting that same look or the same thing. But what artists don't really understand, there's like a positioning and a setup and there's a timing that happens. And you can want your time to happen as much as you want it to.
Yeah.
But in all actuality, if you do something and you don't do it at the proper timing, you'll fall short. And we learned that. You know, there was projects that we would love to put out, that even put projects that we put out that fell short. You know, now you really only get noted for the ones that were big, but like I felt like I-20 could have been way bigger. I felt like Shauna could have been way bigger. I felt like Player Circle could have been way bigger. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I know it was different things that could have happened in different ways. But because of just the setup and the way things work through Def Jam, and it's only so much in how things can do. You know what I'm saying?
What was that like, transitioning from radio to records for you?
Well, I mean, it was, I guess you could say, now that I look at it, it was eye-opening, because, you know, instead of you being called to be wanting to do something, now you got to get in a situation where you got to still talk to these same people that you had a totally different relationship with. Now you got to get budgets from them. Now you got to get budgets approved. Now you got to get projects approved. Now, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't expect for somebody to second guess what you do, because they already know you come from radio, so you got to have some type of understanding.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But some things didn't go through. Some things was hiccups, you know, and like I said, for a long time, you know, DTP had a production situation. They really actually didn't get a full throttle label deal until Bobby V. Okay.
My God.
Yeah, and then that's really what set that course, because realistically, everything else that we did with conjunction with the label.
Yeah.
Bobby V was something, me personally, I took wholeheartedly and went back home and broke. You know what I'm saying? From conception of the record, ideas, going to get the producers, moving Bobby, signing Bobby, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Going to a Radio 1 station in Los Angeles and asking Mary Catherine to help me out, you know what I'm saying? So all these different things came out because I really wanted this to happen. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it happened.
Bobby jammed.
Yeah, you know, and Slow Down was like a #1 record.
Exactly.
So I can't be mad about that, but it just was something that really showed Def Jam, okay, this is not just a production hold. They know how to do everything from start to finish. So that's what made them give the label situation up.
2 Chainz, Player Circle over there, man. Mm-hmm. When you saw them young boys over there doing their thing, did you think that Chainz was going to go on to be one of the biggest rappers to ever come out the damn city?
Yes.
Talk to me.
Yes. 2 Chainz, you know, I say this all the time, and I'm pretty sure, you know, maybe you might have heard or whatever. Titty Boy, Tahi Epps. First time I met Tahi Epps, a.k.a. Titty Boy, 2 Chainz, I was at the station.
Uh-huh.
I asked Arby, yo, who got some weed? I need some weed. He said, man, let me see who got some weed. I said, man, I need some weed. I'm from L.A., Arby. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, man, okay, cool. So he called Titty Boy up. He hit up Chick. Chick came and pulled up. I want to say was it a Cadillac? either Cadillac or Expedition, something cool, whatever. He might have still been at North Clayton or something like that. But he came, pulled up, and he gave me some weed. It was garbage. It was trash. So he was like, I was like, what is this? And he was like, man, you said you wanted some weed. I was like, this ain't, I'm from LA. You know what I'm saying? He was like, oh. You want, you know what I'm saying? You want that dro or whatever he had said or whatever. I was like, yeah. And so he was like, oh, I got to call my mama for that. So I'm thinking like maybe his mama got the plug or maybe his mama knows somebody. No, nigga. Facts. We went right to the apartments. That's not even there no more. The apartments right over there where off Highway 85 where the actual runway is now. But it was some apartments right off Highway 85. They stayed in, came over there, walked in the door, seen his mama, told her what I wanted, and she went and got it. And I said, well, damn. So right then at that point lets me know, even me coming from LA, seeing everything I done seen, been through, whatever, this was something real. Like, this ain't no joke. This ain't no, you know what I'm saying? This ain't no game.
Exactly.
This is the real right here.
Exactly.
So from that point right on, that lets me, that kind of gave me validation of, you know, that family and who, and me and Tit at that point became really close. Like, Tit was, outside of Chris, probably one of my closest friends in that clique because I brought him, I managed Player Circle, I got them their deal, I helped Tit even do a solo deal. You know what I'm saying? I did it all. So at that point for him, I was the selling point, like, because, you know, Shaka and Luda didn't see it in the beginning with Tit, but Chainz has a spirit that's undeniable. And the crazy thing about it, him and Chris have the same spirit. And the reason they have the same spirit is because they're born a day apart on the same year.
Shit.
So I used to be like, man, are you hating on him because you guys are a lot alike? Or, you know what I mean? Because I didn't really get it. Like, you guys are like basically two spectrums, you know what I'm saying? Middle class living, hood living, but same individual. You're both only child. Chris doesn't have another sibling naturally from his parents. Tit doesn't even. So I'm like, the stars had to do something. So and this would explain a lot of things. Because on the road and when we went out, these two would have the exact same outfit on, with never talking to each other. So it just lets me know. And then on top of that, if you know anything about anything, the same way it happened for you, Chris, it's going to happen for him. Ooh. So that's one thing I always knew because, you know, I'm very keen with that, especially in how just things work in life.
Your eyes, Poon. Your eyes done seen so much in this industry, man.
Yeah, man.
Talk to me about seeing people go from nothing to something. What is that like every time you see it? Is it new every time you see it? Or is it to the point now where you can pick it out and say, okay, we know what this is about to be. Just give it 5 years, give it 10 years, but we already know.
That's one thing that I guess I've been accredited for with a lot of people in the industry, and I've been told, without even necessarily being told, but people done played me conversations with people like, boy, he done did, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful, but at the end of the day, I'm very mindful in understanding that my ear is kind of trained when necessarily it comes to music. One thing I did do that my father asked me to do is that, I'm not a musician by, chance, because I'm just not really that skilled. I have a keen ear for sound, vocals, and understanding melodics of music because I went to school and studied music theory. So when I got to Clark, because I couldn't play it, I had to understand it.
Yeah.
So Lisa, my dad, a few other people that I respected, Dallas Austin, Tim and Bob, Kevin Wells. These are different people that I was around when I was in college, and they all was like, that's the smartest thing you could have did. So for me, I can hear something and I don't even like it. But I'm going to tell you that's a hit because of the way it sounds and the way the melody is. So for me, it can be a melody that you do in your rhyming pattern. It can be a melody that's kicked in on top of the music or the instrumentation. Whatever it is, if it's done correctly, it's bona fide, going to connect
My question is this though: what is it that's in those people that causes them to be super successful and others not?
Well, I mean, genuinely, it's just all about your passion, and like the little homie said, rest in peace, my boy Nip. It's about like really not giving up.
Yeah.
Because you can have certain situations that'll happen in a couple of days, and other ones that'll take a couple of years or multiple years. You know what I'm saying? Or 5 years. So it just really depends on what it is. I'll tell people all the time, like, I mean, you can be B-Rock in the biz, or you can be Usher. Yeah. They both got signed to the face at the same time.
Damn.
So, a lot of people don't even know who be rocking the biz.
Yeah, we know. But when you put it like that, I'm here with you though. I'm here with you.
So it's just about, because I don't think they can say on paper, hey, this guy's better than this guy in your paperwork. They sign you to a record deal as everybody else. Way. So it's just about whether you have music that represents longevity or you have music that can be looked at as novelty. So if you have an artist or maybe someone who can transition, you know what I'm saying? Somebody who can actually maybe come out a certain type of way and build into another type of way. I always say the 3000 method. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because 3000, I think a lot of times people kind of misinterpret what happened. You know what I mean? Because they still think of music as like, oh, when you do music, music is an art form.
Exactly.
And when you're an artist, you have different emotions, different feelings, and different things that come about in your music. When you're in the hood, in the ghetto, and you're doing music, you're doing that type of music because that's where you're at.
Yeah.
The minute you leave those type of places and see and do other things, your vibes change because now you're among different things. So to think you're going to put out the same music that you put out when you was broke,
exactly.
Boy, stop. It's not going to happen.
Okay, you mentioned Nipsey earlier, man, and I was on FX and I'm trying to watch Hip Hop Uncovered, and I seen Poon Daddy pop out of no damn well on my TV screen, man. I mean, talk to me about that and how you just go bust that cameo out on us out of nowhere.
Well, that's a project that I have been working on with my uncle, what I'm saying, Big U, for a few years along with him and Doe. We talked about it years ago when they first came to him initially.
Yeah.
And that's what the original documentary was supposed to be, pretty much just on Big U. And he transitioned to make it to where it made sense for any and everybody across the world who's seen it.
That's true.
So that's why he went and got Deborah, Trick, and Haitian Jack, and Bimmy, and really made it like a standhold. Now this thing is
hard
in history. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But as far as Nip, I've been knowing Nip for a long time, and we really connected probably maybe when he was like, I want to say like a sophomore, junior in high school.
Yeah.
Me and my cousin Bear Claw, this is all pre-Poon Daddy stuff, like in L.A. But me and my cousin Bear Claw had a studio, and I helped him put out a couple of mixtapes. When I first moved back to L.A., when me and Chris kind of really formulated there and did some stuff, we had a condo, and then we had a little film company that we started or whatever. So I was there, and I was able to go back home to my roots, to my homies, and really tap in. So when I tapped in with Cuzzo, we put together this claustrophobic mixtape, and I had Bobby on it, I had 3-6 Mafia on it, Jagged Edge, Young Bloods. I really brought, some Atlanta flavor, to LA. You know what I'm saying? So the tape really did well. Corrupt was on it. Who else? CJ Mack. Couple of my homeboys from my neighborhood, so that right there kind of brought Nipsey into the fold, and he was one of the younger guys that wanted to be on the project. And one of my younger homeboys, Tiny Draws, TD, he asked me like, could he get on the tape? And I'm like, well, shit, let's see what's up.
Nigga named Tiny Draws.
Yeah. So Big U's other name is Draws.
Okay.
So he has two hoods from the name.
Yeah.
Two names from the hood because that's just the type of force he is.
Yeah.
So Big U's other real name that he had younger was Big Draws because he was a big statued young dude.
Yeah.
So when you came up on him, you might have thought he was like young or whatever, but when you got close up on him, you realized his statuus was just huge. So the homies used to be like, that's Big Draw, like he big, you feel me? Yeah. And when he punch you, he can knock a grown man out at like 15, 16. He was knocking out 30, 40-year-old men. So this is me, like as a kid, like a young kid watching this, and this is how he got his rep because his hands were so lethal. So niggas had to respect big draws when they seen him, enemies, whoever. So this is kind of where that all necessarily formulated from. So tiny draws is tiny homeboys. Like 4 removed. That's tiny. It's little baby tiny. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So tiny draws asked me could he get on the tape. And Bear Claw was like, yeah, I mean, whatever you think. I was like, yeah, run it. So he did this song, and the song was just so heartfelt. It was young Nip, but you hear all the stuff that you hear now, just his whole flow, the slow. It just, you kind of knew it was something. For me, it kind of happened for me later. But what connected us is that me and his brother grew up together, Sam.
Okay. So
Sam was a hustler, period. I met Sam elementary school. People used to like bag on him. This from Ethiopia or whatever, try to downgrade him or whatever. Sam would leave school early and go to the block, and he not even from 60s, and sell mixtapes, incense, licorice, candy, whatever in school. Like what he had it. Yeah. Like Sam had whatever you need, he had it. So for me, as a young kid, like to see this kid that's my age, 7 or 8, 9, 10, that's already making money.
Yeah.
Like for real, I'm not bullshitting. Like Sam was hustling to the point by the time we got in high school, he was only going to school half the day because he was leaving to go get on his hustle. Yeah. And at this point, Sam had like 2, 3 younger people working for him. Then he they went from like the incense to the mixtapes to the, then they start having like the CDs and they had it popping. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So this is how that whole situation with Nip that you see formulating with him and the T-shirts and all that, because Sam has always been a hustler. So they've always had money, and they always knew that they were going to be entrepreneurs. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because in Ethiopia, they don't grow up in thinking they're going to work for somebody else. They grow up thinking they're going to create something for themselves and their family. That's because they believe in wealth amongst their all, which we don't. You know what I'm saying? We'll be quick, fast to be like, let me go get a job for somebody else, as opposed to being able to be your own light and be an alliance to somebody else and create your own stuff. And put your own people on. And now, guess what? You got 2, 3 different people making a certain amount of money, which makes you powerful. Yep. So instead of me putting you on, you put your cell phone, I gave you the information of the game or whatever, and you was able to create forever.
When Nip blew up and then he passed, man, how did that impact you? And I mean, just being from, LA and stuff like that, how did that impact the community? Because that messed everybody up.
Well, I mean, it was heartbreaking, dog. I mean, it's still something that we think about and we just say, damn, it's fucked up. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I think in some type of way, it was probably something, that I'm saying, that I seen that really kind of tapped in with people's hearts and understanding about everybody not being the same, because Nipsey was not your everyday gangbanger. He wasn't even an everyday person that you would see from my neighborhood. Yeah. His light was so powerful, his inspirational, because he really wanted and meant something more than just a street or the streets. You know what I'm saying? This kid was phenomenal. Just how his whole brain worked, what he thought about, the things he wanted to do. It was something that even somebody that I feel like was tapped in and thought about certain things, he went and therefore even deeper. And I remember having conversations about him. We used to talk about Black Wall Street all the time because Nipsey's, that's the other thing I was gonna say, majority of Nipsey's production is done by these guys called 1500 and Nothing. Now there's some producers from LA, and it's like maybe like 7 of them, 8 of them, but between the main 4, they got like 27 Grammys in the last 5 years. Yeah. So from like Adele, Bruno Mars, Nipsey, Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, T.I., like these are just a majority of like some of the people that they work with. But these were Nipsey's main producers. So he would be at the studio with them, I would be at the studio with them. So we would see each other, we would talk, and we would build. And this is what made me my whole connection with him become stronger, because I seen it was way more about the music. I mean, way more than just about the music. It was really just about him being able to start something and become something, so that other people that come from where he come from can see that it's so much more than just selling dope, hustling, gangbanging. Like he was really trying to be, iconic in that form culturally. You know what I'm saying?
What stresses me out about that is because I totally understand where you're coming from, but what's also just wears me out is he goes off to do all of that to still wind up in the same place.
Yeah.
How do we solve that?
Well, one thing I can say about people from Los Angeles is that regardless of what people might really think or feel, we love where we from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even me saying that, like, as long as I was here and as much as it was a great time, after a while, I wanted to really go home. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see some people that I went to school with. I wanted to see some family members. Like, I got family here. I got people here. And I got people that have become family here. But at the end of the day, you kind of really want to sometimes see people that you have, real old school connection from when you were younger and stuff. And I didn't really have that here because I didn't get here officially till college. You know what I'm saying? So I'm somebody that understands that, but one thing I do understand about Los Angeles and especially about the neighborhood that we're from is that, it's one of the biggest neighborhoods on the surface of Los Angeles. So you have literally some people that might be from this neighborhood that never seen some other people from the hood unless it's a function, something going on, because in the 60s, especially, there's no one leader.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many different streets and you got maybe like a 2 to 3.5 mile radius of the neighborhood. Like usually there's neighborhoods not that big.
Yeah.
And that's just going on the front part. You might have another 3 miles going that way.
Yeah.
So it's a long stretch for a hood and for people to get along. But in anything, man, it's a situation where the people not being able to understand certain things about people's growth, as human beings, sometimes can come off as like detrimental. Because if I'm someone that doesn't understand about being able to build and become something huge and large, somebody that's up under me or that I came up under might take certain things that can really help way more than just us as a staff because of what they are going through personally. You know what I'm saying? And again, coming from where we come from, like, it's messed up. Like it's really a breakdown. But again, we don't have counselors in the hood. We don't have people that can help people that need extra help because they might have mental illness or they might, be some type of special needs. We don't have anybody to do that.
Yeah.
That they'll maybe put them in some classes in certain type of areas, but unless they're really, really traumatically show indications, they don't do something for the people that have maybe 30% or 20% or, that's functional.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Exactly.
It still needs to be helped. So therefore, you don't never know.
Yeah.
So to me, in certain situations like that, and the sad thing about it is that, bro, my cousin is rest in peace, from the same hood that I'm from and Nip was from. He died from one of my homies in 96.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? In front of everybody.
Yeah.
So this is not new.
It ain't new.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not new on a big part, just in people being upset about certain people's, blow up or evolvement or however you want to look at it. So it's so sickening just in the urban communities of jealousy and just irate of people being sustainable, not being able to understand. You know what I mean? Because I really think a lot of times if someone being jealous, it's a point in that. Unless you're just a poor Blair hater. But, you know what I'm saying? Usually it's somebody not really gathering and getting all the information to be able to make the right, pick on what's going on.
Now, I want to jump back to DTP, man. When y'all had world domination going on with that label, what was that experience like when y'all was free from radio? Now y'all 2 feet deep in the music industry, going platinum, selling records, and it's going down.
Well, check this out. For me, it was motherfucking probably too much. I mean, I know at the end of the day, for some people, and just going, you gotta sometimes sit and take it all in, because I felt like I was on a destruction path, because even though we was doing everything we was doing, I still was living as if I was at the radio station every day, and I was, you know what I'm saying? I had a 50 Hennessy everywhere I wanted to go, 2-3 cars, a house in Alpharetta, apartment downtown. Like, we had everything, you know what I'm saying? It was whatever. So sometimes when you get that, it's, you know, it's just too much. And for me, it was way too much because I had all it. Like, I would have, man, I didn't have a license for so long, and I didn't want to drive. I just literally just used to, I was Uber way before Uber, bro. I had 2-3 different people that I used to pay. You could talk as anybody. I had 2-3 different people that probably got in different and better situations simply because they drove me.
Damn.
Straight up.
So what did that money do to you then, Poon?
Well, I mean, you know, I made a certain amount of money, but, you know, in what I felt like I should have made or could have made, I didn't. But in just like in making any money or changing your whole class of what you are, you know, you indulge. You ain't never had it before, so you doing shit that you ain't never did before. I remember one time, I think we was on a Stank Love tour, or what was that one? It's either Stank Love with Outkast or with Eminem, one of them. And we were on the road, and I bought a car on the road, and I never got it.
Damn.
Yeah, because it was negligence. I drunk for a guy who was supposed to get it shipped, and it never had to end up like selling it back to the owner so that they can get it. So I like lost money on it. You know what I'm saying? It was just too much. And when a lot of times what people don't understand is that when you get successful, one of the biggest things that people need to understand is moderation. You know what I mean? And that's on every level.
Yeah.
So even if you go into the clubs or you working or you got to go do a show or you got to go do something, every night you might not have to go to the after party, or every night you might not have to do all the events. You might need to do just the events necessarily that you got to be there so you can get up and be bright-eyed and focused in the morning.
Exactly.
And these are different things that I had to learn and figure out on the job. You know what I'm saying? Like 9/11, I'll never forget that. I would have been in New York with Ludacris if I wouldn't have been drunk the night before.
Damn.
Yeah. So we had a surprise party or a surprise whatever in New York. Yeah. And we were all at the airport, or maybe we weren't all, but majority of us was at the airport, and we seen what, you know, the plane crash. And I was like, God damn, lucky we ain't there. And I remember we talked to Chris, and Chris was tripping because it was daytime, but it was still black outside. So he was tripping like, what the fuck is going on? He said it was just smoke all in his wood, like he couldn't see nothing. It was just crazy. So I'm saying, so yeah, I remember he had to like rent a bus and ride back because he couldn't even fly back. It was crazy, man. Like, so yeah.
Answer me this though, Poon. Riding with your partner Chris the long way, having to deal with the beefs. You got a T.I. beef out of nowhere. What the hell was really going on?
Well, I mean, hey, man, I just think in all actuality, a lot of that stuff just be kind of be like young, combative testosterone in black men, because for me, and, you know, I don't, when it comes to certain things, I don't forget. You know what I mean? So, I can remember for Nelly and them, my boy named Dino Divide. He was the A&R at Universal, and he was the person that signed Nelly. So everybody didn't like Nelly, and it was like some new music that was a new style. So because me and Chris heard it and was like, this shit kind of different, but it was a little jamming, we played it. We brought them in, we interviewed them, we did everything. Now this might have been maybe What's Your Fantasy was out. So this was literally like around when What's Your Fantasy was out. I don't know if they had heard it or whatever, but it was definitely out. But this is kind of like maybe in like maybe the last 30 to 60 days of Luda being on air. So we were, we interviewed them, we showed love, we did, you know, took them out afterwards, we tapped in. And I found out Nelly was from 60s and St. Louis, like it was cool, it was never a problem. So I don't know. I don't really know where it was necessarily a problem with him. But what I will say is that the Chingy situation changed a lot with us and them, because us not knowing, they were after Chingy. But Chingy didn't want to mess with them because of something that happened prior. So, I mean, to me, I can't fault someone else outside of the city for doing something I couldn't do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That just sounds crazy. So I don't know. I just think a lot of times in Ali's whole rant or how he feel like he want to feel is kind of like him, meaning he dropped the ball a little bit because Chingy was actually like his, I want to say his brother's best friend or something. So, boy, you was supposed to be doing that. You should have locked him in with your mama money. You feel me? You should, mama, go get the paperwork. We're going to lock Jackpot. That's what they used to call it. We're going to go lock Jackpot in. I'm going to wait for Mo. You know what I'm saying? That ain't got nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? You had ample opportunity to do whatever, and you know, you didn't do it. So when we came and just the attention that came with Chingy, it was huge, and especially in their market. So everything that became all about Nelly now became about maybe Chingy and Nelly. So that kind of, you know, maybe to put a little something in their pocket because you know the Lunatics was an act as well. So maybe they, you know, I don't know, but I mean, hey, salute. I tell Ali every time I see him, what's happening, Hood?
Exactly.
You know, I ain't never got no problem. But what I know in all actuality, me, Keywan, and Mo, Nelly are cool. I just seen Nelly literally maybe 2 weeks ago at the car wash in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? We talked for about 30 minutes, and he actually was talking about Ali and the kind of rift that they got going on now. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he just venting, man. I mean, get it off, you know? We getting older. You got some stuff on your chest. You want to get it off, man. Like, but, I mean, to really think that people are necessarily going to, like, buy into it, like, A is old, B is whatever, and C is not even all the way accurate. So, for me, I just was, when I first initially hit you, I was just trying to just be like, look, if we going to put it out there, let's put it out there real. We ain't never followed, copied, did nothing. If anything, the 90s was a cultural bed of a lot of different flavors blending. And if you didn't get that from seeing hip-hop, then I don't know what to tell you.
Tip.
Yeah.
When they wired up. So, when Luda got on that song and snapped on that man, what was going through your mind?
No, he should have been did it.
Ooh.
He should have been did it. And the reason why is because the whole little bullshit had nothing to do with Chris. It was more about T.I. and I-20. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, this is all old stuff, and you know, I'm just kind of just putting it out there. So T.I. actually was somebody that I fucked with. You know what I'm saying? Like way before even that. I met T.I. through KP, and KP just knew that I, you know, fucked with dope hot shit and wanted me to tap in with his shit, and I did. Me and T.I. went to the Atrium. We hung out with me, KT, all of us. We hung out, kicked it. So to me, I tapped in just with his spirit, and I liked him. And I remember the Beanie Man song. We played. We played that song. Steve Hegwood didn't even. If you ask Steve Hegwood, he'll tell you right now to this day that they didn't like that record. You know what I'm saying?
Now, why they didn't like it?
I don't know. They just wasn't on it, and it was a situation to where. At that time, Steve was like head of programming, so he was over like all of Radio 1 or something. I remember having real conversation with him about like, man, let's just play this record. So yeah, we wasn't even supposed to play it, and we did. And we still showed him love, and again, I fucked with him. So I just think the whole kind of situation with him was something that kind of maybe other people and fueling kind of led to and made it Chris. So Chris kind of just got fed up and just aired it out. But in all actuality, it was jabs that had went on for the longest. 24 is about Ludacris. I mean,
I ain't had no clue that was about Luda.
You know, it's some jabs in there. I think it's about a couple other people, but it is. And guess what? Shit jamming. You know that. You know what I'm saying? Shit jamming. So it wasn't a situation, but in hip hop, people do that. They put out dope shit and they can come back and that just makes somebody want to do it. But Chris is one of those type of people who's like, I ain't even going to go because I don't have a problem with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I going to talk about something I don't even, this is I-20 shit, really?
Yeah.
And it's really all bullshit because in all actuality, it really shouldn't have even been a problem because it was about a battle on the radio. It was, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, I tell people all the time, T.I. won the battle fair and square. He ate 20 up.
Yeah.
On his birthday. It was his 20th birthday. It was terrible. I felt so bad for 20. 20, what's up? You know I love you. But look, it was terrible. But it was real. It's what happened. It was what happened after that. It was like an incident at the bounce, like right before we went on stage. It was something on the DJ Jelly mixtape. It was something on Cocoa Brothers show. It was something in the basement. It just kept fueling. I'm like, bruh, Ain't nobody around here know. I'm far from any type of bitch, hoe, or anything. So for me, that's where it kind of just took to the point to where he's not gonna stop till somebody do something. You know what I'm saying? So I'll never forget. I remember, I think the Rap City shit or something happened. I was in LA. I was on the block. I might have been on 10th Ave. We sitting there watching Rap City, and that nigga said something about we should grit your teeth and I really show you niggas how to disturb the peace. Every nigga from my hood stopped and looked at me. Damn, cuz. That nigga just went for y'all. Like, this was like heartbreaking. I was like, oh my God. I remember I called everybody like, what's going on? Like, what's... Bro, he really tripping. So, I mean, again, like, I just think necessarily, like, that was something that was at a point, at a time, and T.I. was a hot-blooded, boiling young dude. You feel me? And I respect him to the fullest, but that was his energy. Yeah. Like, you know, he had to let you know, I just don't try to come at me because I'm a red nigga, I'm a little bankhead nigga, and nigga, I do you. So exactly. I got your vibe, but my thing was that, bro, we ain't did nothing in the city. Even before you was rapping, but help artists.
Yeah.
We the last people to even try to come at or come to, because we made sure outlets was there for the city when nobody did. People forget, and you can let the people know. Yeah. Before Radio 1 was in this market, you could not hear Lisa rap on a TLC record on V103 because they didn't play no rap. And they had drops that said no rap. So for the culture of Atlanta, I'm just being straight up.
I'm here for
the culture of Atlanta, what Radio 1 did, what Alfred Liggins and Mary Catherine did for the city and the culture was like straight
unheard
up.
Of. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this, you know, they took Ryan. Ryan was the biggest jock on V. Yeah. So it was at that point, what they were doing and what they were setting up for the city and for the people and the artists that was to come was really something that everybody got to necessarily pay homage to now, because there's not a station in Atlanta that's not playing hip hop. It's 5, 4. I've heard stations. I'm like, God damn. I didn't even know. So to me, it started at 1 and it definitely grew, but somebody had a vision. Alfred, Mary Catherine, Alfred's mom, Kathy Hughes, they had a real vision of what they kind of wanted to do in this market and in the city, and it did nothing but flourish. Great musicians, great artists. But, you know, we had that platform because I don't know where you heard people like Pat the Great on the radio and Kilo and what's my boy name? Money Red. You wasn't hearing stuff like that until Hot came. Jerry Smoking B and DJ Jelly. Yeah. These were people that you might have heard once a week, maybe 30 minutes. You know, when Jerry was at Hot. But now you was hearing this stuff all the time. It was kind of transition, helping your ear, helping you really be able to attach to certain things that you grew up now you're doing.
Facts. 5 Deuce 4 Trey, man. When Backbone made that song and you didn't realize that your Sade went that good with a damn track, what would you think when you heard that thing?
Well, he had already told me I'm gonna use it. He kept saying it. Now, I will say this: a lot of what's in me as far as understanding just about Black culture and what it is and the toolaging I got in Atlanta from kind of understanding about myself and getting a lot of that knowledge came from Comrade Street in the dungeon. Because, again, a lot of people don't know this, more Atlanta history. One of the first acts that Rico and Organized Noise was able to ever get a check from was one of Lisa's groups that she had got signed to Savvy Records, which was owned by Pebbles, which was their manager, LA's ex-wife. And they had a group called Drip Drop, and then she had another group called Je ne sais quoi. Drip Drop was signed to Savvy along with an R&B group called 4.0. Both of these groups were some of the basis of where Organized Noise were doing other projects outside of Outkast and Goody Mob. This was some of the early stuff, and PA. You know what I'm saying? So I think PA was signed to Savvy. They were the first group that Organized pretty much did the bulk load of the music. Then they worked on Drip Drop and Je ne sais quoi. And this is how I got a chance to be able to go to the dungeons, post up there hours and days because I was able to go build with them. So this became my kindred spirit, and that's always been like a second family to me. Like I know probably every member in DF, first, second generation, personally. You know what I'm saying? So for Reek, for Ray, for Pat, Moan, Sugarfoot, Quez, everybody over there, like, you know, they're really close to me. So when Backbone first initially said something to me about it, I'm like, whatever you want to do. Because I think, I don't know if maybe before or after that, I don't know, Who You With by Lil Jon, when that came out? Did that come out before that?
That was somewhere in that same area.
Okay, well, Lil Jon used Shout It first because he had me go on a record and say, Shout It on Who You With. So he actually had me first. I think even before that, I want to say Be Rockin' the Biz had me say something on their album because of my boy Tony Mercedes. Shout out to Tony Mercedes. Yeah, those are like coming out the early things that people just wanted me to say Shawty on or whatever. And a Backbone just was like, I'm about to make this shit worldwide. And he did it, and I appreciated it. I still love him to this day. He hit me and, you know, asked me to do a little certain shit for him, whatever he want me to do. Like, you know, back my nigga, man.
That's right.
Slick partner. I'm an eyeball.
Come on now, Lashley. What you got coming up next? And is there anything that these folks need to know, Poon?
Man, well, I got a bunch of stuff coming up next. Now that you guys seen the Hip Hop Uncovered, you know what I'm saying? Executive produced by my big unk, you know, Big U, Doe, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, the whole crew over there at FXX, you know what I'm saying? They had me be a part of that and help me connect a lot of the dots with a lot of different people, so I was able to really help them. We got another dot coming out, but I got a TV show called, it's coming out on this platform called WikiLeafs, which is a cannabis-driven platform. You can see it online, but WikiLeafs is something that you go to when you need to find anything in the cannabis market on a global level. So if you leave out the country or whatever, you Google WikiLeafs and go download their platform, and you can go find from flower to dispensaries to CBD to whatever. Well, they got a WikiLeafs TV, and they're going to have a few different shows that's on there. And one of the shows is a show that me and my partner Carlos are doing. It's called Hip Hop History. And it's basically formed on stories and information that's fueled in the hip hop and the hip hop generation, kind of pre-social media, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think some of it, you know, might have been around some MySpace time, but majority of it is pre, you know, phones and everything. So a lot of the stories on there is like legendary, from Snoop. We got T-Boz, we got KP, we got my boy Fuzzy. We got my boy from TDE, the owner, Top Dog. Yeah. But see, we talking to Top Dog about working security for Death Row, because a lot of people don't know he used to work security for Death Row. So we getting information and different things that people necessarily, you know, haven't heard or, you know, kind of wanted to hear about, or, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, we just, you know, I got that is coming in. And I'm about to venture back into, you know, back on the radio, man. I got some huge stuff coming. I don't really, you know, I got let the cat out the bag just yet. We finalizing, but I promise you, Poon Daddy gonna be everywhere he need to be across the world, like very soon. So, you know what I'm saying? It's something that's gonna be remarkable, and it's something I'm very happy to be a part of. Outside of that, on the music front, I got the most amazing talents that I've ever met in my life. 2 Australian boys named Mason and Jules. Yes, their father is he's from Portugal. He's Portuguese, and then their mom is from Melbourne, Australia. They're Australian. They moved to Los Angeles like about maybe under 2 years ago, just for the fact of them coming to, you know, work and get deals. They're 14 and 16, and when I can say they're special on repair, they play multiple instruments. They rap, they sing, they write a majority of their records, they produce a majority of their records, they mix a majority of their records, master, you know what I'm saying? Whatever they need to do, they do whatever they need to do. They're amazing surfers, they're amazing skaters. So they're really, really, you know, kids that really actually have kind of, I say, tapped into the musical culture here in the States, and they are remarkable. Like, I mean, I call them my BGs because, you know what I'm saying, the BGs was from Australia and they was singing here and was able to tap into the culture in a large way in the 70s, and these kids are able to do it. I'm pretty sure you're going to hear a record with Baby, Future, somebody, because they're just that good and they can do it all, but they're very special, and we got a project coming out on them. Vincent Herbert's working with us on it, and my boy Calvin, and a few different people. Shout out to Baby Drew. He's gonna be their DJ Baby Drew.
Yeah, what up, though, Drew?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So he's a part of them. But these kids are very special. I mean, Bieber-ish, NSYNC special. Because when you see them, if you got a daughter and she's probably over 10, she's gonna go crazy because they're some of those kids.
I can definitely dig it. But Poon, how can they contact you?
Man, I'm always on Instagram. But look, check this out. Let me give a little disclaimer on my Instagram.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm gonna tell you this. For me, guys, this is just for me. I don't give a fuck about social media. So when people hit me and say all this different type of stuff and they can do this, they can do that, I don't care. I don't care if I have 1 follower. What you have to understand is that my isms, my being here has fueled so much stuff that you've already in your DNA. I'm there. So I don't care about your praises or whatever or anything. So I don't use it like people use their social media. I check it, I go on there, look and see what's going on, and get off of there. I don't be always in the DMs and all that. That ain't my thing. So don't be DMing me, asking me all. I get some crazy shit, B. That's why I'm doing this.
Damn.
Because I'm like, I need to apply. Because people been hitting me. Yo, listen to this. To that. I don't even know you. I'm not about to listen to your music.
Yeah.
I'm not operated like that. If you get around me, we tap in. It's energy, kindred spirits. Maybe we can work on something, but I don't fuck with everybody. I don't. I love everybody. I respect everybody, but I'm not somebody that needs to get someone else's approval to necessarily boost me. Me being me is gonna get my approval rating up, you know? And check it out. Not conceited or anything. I don't want nobody to put that out there. I just believe in myself, and God has blessed me. So he's necessarily the only person that I look to for some type of, you know, he can give me some followers. If Jesus can give me followers, I'm on it.
Boom! Appreciate you coming through this thing, boss. Wish you nothing but the best and much success, boy.
Man, appreciate you having me, and I appreciate you and seeing what you've done, bro. Like,
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you, man.
Appreciate
like
it.
on a whole part. And
Yes,
you know what I'm
sir.
saying? You just keep doing it. Whatever you need me to do, however you need me to do it, let me know. I'm always here for you, bro.
Man,
For
appreciate
real.
it, Poon. Appreciate
you.
it. Be High Radio, shout it.
Be High A-Town legend. That's right.
Dude, I'm trying to get there like Poon. Holla at y'all in a minute, man. We go.